Let's go way back. I want to go back because I'm real curious on leading up to the day you guys showed up at church.
It was getting here, trying to get situated, you know, only people we knew were in our jobs. And of course, it's different in California. You move here and everyone asks you, what church do you go to?
Yeah.
In California, they ask you, do you go to church? Not where do you go to church. So
yeah.
They automatically assume, what church do you go to?
Yeah.
We didn't attend a church. You know, I was born and raised a Catholic. My husband, Baptist, you know, never took my daughter to church. So I picked her up from daycare and she got in the car and I said, how was school today? And she said, oh Mom, it was great. We had the speaker, and she just went into detail. And she said, and I'm ready to invite the Lord into my life. Oh. And I thought,
what does that mean?
I turned and looked and I said, is this my child who's saying that?
Yeah.
So we had been invited several times by the Simmons, Ken and Dana Simmons, to attend their Sunday school. We ended up just attending service.
Yeah.
And we really liked it. You know, we really enjoyed it. The first, I think we did about 4 times before we started attending Sunday school. A year ago, almost to this date, January.
Pretty much, huh?
Yeah.
Almost 1 year ago today.
Yeah.
Tell me about that day. What was, you know?
Yeah, you spoke that morning and
Pastor got sick.
Pastor actually got sick.
How about that? You know, I remember, you know, Steve walked in and goes, do you think you can, you know, our pastor just got sick, they took him out of here, do you think I was like, no, I'm just kidding. I was like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I was excited about that. What did God, you know, tell me exactly what God just...
to your story, you know, I remember you saying to bow our heads, and if we haven't, you know, received Christ into our life, you know, now is time to say that prayer. And I remember bowing my head and saying the prayer, and I just wanted to go up there, but I just couldn't. And all of a sudden I felt like this, it was like, it was described to people like this warm, like feeling, just like overcome my body. And I touched my husband's lap, and I turned to him and said, I have to go up there. And so I jumped up and went up there. And then everything's been amazing.
That encounter with God.
Yeah. I was driving my sister-in-law to Houston, and my hand had just gotten just down the street, and my hand had just fallen off the wheel. You know, don't drink, don't smoke, healthy as can be. And so they wanted to call a neurologist and do an MRI. And they did the MRI, and the neurologist came in and told me I had a brain tumor on the right side of my head. A month before that, I had a lot of body aches and a lot of pains and stuff.
Yeah.
And my blood work came back completely fine. You know, there was nothing, and it was a month. And anyway, so they told me I had leukemia, and I said, okay.
Wow. Let's
do this. And my family is, I've got people flying in from everywhere, just a mess, just thinking of the brain tumor being bad enough. You know, not ready to accept the leukemia part of it. And I just looked at everyone who was crying and said, if you're gonna cry, you need to go out of my room, because I don't want anyone who's gonna cry in here. Everybody needs to be strong. I'm actually in remission. They told me remission in a year, and I've been in remission in less than a month.
Oh wow.
So the tumor is almost gone now. And it's just amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And we know whose work that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have to go in for that, but I'm waiting right now for a bone marrow donor, and because I have to have a bone marrow transplant, and that will get me to cure me and, you know, get where I need to go.
Where are you getting the strength from?
The Lord.
Yeah.
I really think so. I really think so.
That's the only thing, right? I mean, there's no way someone that doesn't know Christ can have that kind of strength.
There's no way.
I don't see how it can happen.
To most people and to non-believers, they probably look at it as being in denial. Yeah. And it's not. I mean, He's given me such amazing strength that it's impossible. I was always real reserved. I mean, I was even scared, you know, the day after I got saved, of course, Dana's like, okay, everybody wants to hear, you know, there's a few people that work with us, that go to church with us. Okay, I want to hear how it felt when you got saved. Yeah. And I thought, it was that,
well, that weirdness, you're like, well, do I, you know, they're going to think I'm crazy or, you know, whatever.
And now it's just like.
You're like, I don't care.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Pours out like a river now.
Pours out like a river. And I mean, that's a testimony to all of us,
this is
you know?
You know, this is just the beginning. This has only been a month and a half. One of my things I always wanted after being saved was I wanted someone to be able to tell me, I can feel the Holy Spirit pouring out of you. And my first nurse, when I got there to the hospital, asked me, where do you get your strength? You know, where? And she said, I can just feel the Holy Spirit pouring out of you.
Wow.
And I said, oh, you know, this is what I want. You know, this is, Lord, I want to do your work. You know, I just, you've been so faithful to me, and I want to be so faithful to you.